In past risk awareness weeks, I described how decades of research are revealing that our decision-making leaves plenty of room for improvement. We need to bring a lot of these different solutions that are all meant to support decision-making in the organization and make a cohesive solution. I'll be talking about all of that. Disconnect between risk management and decision-making in general by talking about a few questions that tend to come up in risk management-related workshops that I have with clients. You probably run into these issues too. As I said, sometimes people want to define risk as including uncertainty about gains, but there's already different words for this. So let's think of risk management, which includes risk analysis, as part of a larger ecosystem of decision-making. Those are parts of the methods used in risk management and other areas of decision-making. Also, empirical methods and monitoring things, all those dashboards and metrics and so forth, and just Bayesian update methods for reducing your uncertainty. But if I were to try to encapsulate all of these different concepts and many more under one cohesive idea, I might call it integrated decision management. So I'm not talking just about trying to integrate risk management with decision making in general, but really trying to integrate all these other parts of decision making. It's not about how we should select and prioritize investments, how we should track our performance, or about the methods used to make those decisions. That's not a question that actually comes up in most risk assessment methods, even quantitative ones. But that is something that comes up in typical portfolio prioritization methods like the ones I referred to. Experiments have been done that showed that relatively arbitrary external irrelevant factors actually changed the risk aversion of people who play games of chance. Each one of these I've heard lots of buzz about, and many more items, by the way. And some of the most buzzworthy things have changed a lot over the years. This value of information approach to deciding what to measure has been around really since World War II. And that's a good thing because we know there are a lot of areas where we need human input and we can't always use algorithms and empirical data. Now, inconsistency is something we can control for. I just got done mentioning the inconsistency in regards to risk tolerance, but we're also highly inconsistent in regards to the estimates we make. If you're making a forecast for some business benefit that might go out several years, you're not going to find out right away whether or not your estimate 4 or 5 years from now was accurate. Or if you say that something that's very rare as a risk only has a 5% chance of happening per year, but practice estimates are there primarily to measure the performance of your subject matter experts and train them to get better. So you don't have to always forecast things that are 1 year or 5 years or 20 years out. You can forecast things that are going to happen the next week or so. The human brain shines on more ambiguously defined problems where we have to generate ideas. How do we come up with the solutions to the various problems that we identify? There's not algorithms for that just yet. Let's have a dashboard that gives us the expected value of information so that we know what measurements we should even include on a dashboard in the first place, for example. But now I want to talk about a couple of new things that we haven't tried yet, but we started some discussions about this. For example, you might change your depression just by nudging the kinds of connections that you're making. Maybe one additional introduction might cause you to increase your performance in some particular area. Now, again, this is not something I've implemented personally, but you know that Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and so forth all use your social network behavior to optimize their platform. What if you could find out through some analytics of your social networks that spending more time with certain people, at certain colleagues, or having certain discussions, or changing your lunch group or something like this would actually make you perform better at something? Now, I would consider this part of, well, obviously a more aspirational goal of integrated decision management, but it is part of integrated decision management. We're talking about improving the performance of decision-making as a whole, bringing together all those disparate kinds of methods and fields, and talking about how we actually measure their performance. Computational social science, how well your network is performing, how well your team is performing, how well this group of individuals perform at estimating the cost of IT projects or the risk of cybersecurity events, et cetera. We can track and train subject matter experts. We know how to compare their observed outcomes to the individual estimates they originally gave.